Welcome to Pioneer Portraits. I am your host, Darla Miller. Join me as we dig into the university experience of Malone students and alumni and hear more about what challenges, encourages, and inspires them. I am really excited today to be talking to three of our coaches of new female sports. And I told you guys before, but I'm going to tell you again how grateful that I am that you're at Malone and that you guys really are an answer to prayer. One of the most impactful things that I've done here at Malone is go to our sports banquets. And the first time my husband asked me to go to a sports banquet, I'm not an athlete. That's shocking, I know. But I just dreaded it because I'd been to high school sports banquets and I just dreaded it. But I was so moved because here were these people being inducted into the Hall of Fame that had their whole team with them. And I'm talking people maybe who had graduated 30 or 40 years ago. And everyone that shaped their world, including their coaches, including their teammates, just was there supporting them. And they had been lifelong friends and lifelong supports. And it's so moving to me to know what impact you guys get to have. So thank you for being here, first of all, and thank you for being with us on the podcast.
Glad to be here.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
So let's talk about your sports. I have all sorts of questions for you guys. I'm calling your sport the Make the First Lady Scream and Terror sport.
Okay, that's appropriate.
So tell us what you're doing, and I'd like to know a little bit about the sport. And introduce yourselves, please.
I'm Karen Marinos. I've been coaching for more than years than I can count. I've started cheering and stunting when I was like 6. And the love I have for the sport of cheer and stunt, although here at Malone University it is stunt, NCAA program. Stunt is a derivative of cheer. So it started out just as cheer, and now the two have separated. And stunt is a game that we will play against other NCAA teams where we go head-to-head doing the same routine, and then whoever performs that routine the best with the least amount of deductions gets the point. And then whoever gets the point gets to call the next routine. So there is a strategy to this. We want to be able to call a routine that we think maybe the other team maybe doesn't know as well as we do, or vice versa, they might do that to us. So there's 4 quarters. It's kind of like a basketball game, 4 quarters, halftime. And literally, we throw humans up in the air and catch them.
That's the important part.
That's the important part. Yeah.
All right, Krista.
I mean, Karen pretty much put it in a nutshell. It is a derivative of cheer, but it's finally recognized as a sport because Karen and I have the background of cheer, and we're never recognized as athletes. There's just like other cute cheerleaders on the sidelines, and finally these girls are going to be able to prove that they are athletes because what they do is hard.
For sure.
It's hard, and our team this year is brand new, and most of the girls didn't come from any sort of background of cheer. We only had 4 that actually have a cheer background. No stunting. So we had to start from the bottom up this year, which it took us a while, but we're finally getting there, and we're finally like feeling the confidence going into our season now. So, yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much it. It's these girls throwing each other up in the air and working together as a team. And, you know, we have a lot of recruits coming next year, so we're excited to grow this program to what we know it's going to be.
Mm-hmm. Great. And this is Krista Klein.
Oh, yeah, I'm Coach Klein. Sorry.
Good morning, Darla. Thank you for having me. My name is Mike Jewell. I am the head women's lacrosse coach. I was hired back in 2022, actually. To start the program here at Malone. Again, just like you guys are doing from the scratch. For me, just a little bit about my background is I'm not, I guess, your typical coach. I mean, I've been coaching. I've coached youth. I've coached high school. I've coached summer leagues in lacrosse. I've coached boys and girls lacrosse. But the majority of my background is for 28 years I was a police officer. And so a lot of my background comes with dealing with people and dealing with personnel and emotions and having to deal with trouble. So a lot of actually my background when I look at coaching and when I do some of the things that I do as far as coaching, I rely on some of that background of how we best deal with situations and what is the best resolution to get us where we want to be. So it's been very helpful. And then from a management standpoint, being able to put the program together has actually really helped as well. So it's just really a blessing to be here at Malone. I really think that as I reflect on my history and my path here, it's really been a true blessing, and just really glad to be here.
All right. So you've told us a little bit about your background. What brought you to Malone? What made you interested in Malone?
Man, that's just a long story. Just to sum it up, honestly, when I was a police officer, when I was still working as a police officer, I had coached my daughter, and just fell in love with the game of lacrosse. And coached her all the way up through high school, started coaching my son, but just fell in love with the game of lacrosse. And then during that journey with her, wanting to become a better coach, I actually started becoming a lacrosse official. And in honesty, it wasn't that I wanted to learn how to cheat at lacrosse, because I had never played girls lacrosse. So I wanted to make sure I knew the rules better, so that way I could win games. And so I became a lacrosse official, and then that kind of took off, and that blossomed with officiating. So when I really couldn't coach my daughter anymore in high school, I started more officiating high school and collegiate games. And so I've always said that if I wasn't on the field with the girls, I'd want to be off the field with and coaching the girls, because I love this sport. I love the game of lacrosse. And then I was still working. And as a full-time police officer, 40 hours plus a week. And my daughter, she went to Ashland University. We had fallen in love with that school. We thought, it was the best thing since sliced bread. And she had some rough experiences there. She had some bad coaching experiences there. And that head coach had stepped down. And I was kind of in the wings, talking to the AD and said, these girls need a season, they need help. And they said, well, why don't you apply to be an interim coach? And so I applied to be an interim coach, and for whatever reason, they hired me. And so I got a year as an interim head coach at Ashland University. And so I got the opportunity this is a father-daughter story. I got to coach my daughter middle school, high school, and then even on the collegiate level. What was it? I mean, it's just been an awesome story. And I've got to officiate her on the field. I've got to officiate her as a coach. So it's just been an awesome father-daughter experience. And so I ended up not getting hired again at Ashland. They went a different direction, and I went back to being a full-time police officer. I'd never quit, so I was working a full-time job as a coach and a full-time job as a police officer during all of this, and then went back to being a cop, and then it was 28 years. I was pretty much done, and I hung it up, and I retired. I retired from being a police officer. I built a pool. I have a beautiful pool in my backyard. That's actually what my motivation is to get back to my pool in the summer. And then I saw that Malone was I'm still official, by the way, during this time. And I saw that Malone was looking for a coach. I think at first they were looking at starting an overall person to be in charge of both the boys and girls lacrosse team. And then they went away from that and just started the boys program first, with his coached by Mike Campbell. And then so he took the reins the first year with the boys, and then they wanted to hire girls the second year. So I ended up applying, not thinking I even had a shot in the dark, but I'm retired. I love the game, so I want to give it a shot. And by the grace of God, they decided I'm here. And I think that everything kind of played in part to that, with the management background of being able to talk and communicate with people, because a lot of our job is just being able to talk and communicate, and whether it's talking to kids about their grades, or talking to kids about a bad day, or even talking to kids and having that hard conversation about when they do something wrong or when they do something good. So it's about that communication style. And so all of that brought me here. So to wrap it up, I guess, long story short, my motivation of what brought me here to Malone, when I look back and I see that experience that my daughter had at Ashland, and not having that good experience, my motivation is I want to give all of those girls out there the opportunity to have that experience that she didn't have, to have that team, to have that family, to have that bond of sisterhood. So that's really my true motivation. I get to do it as a coach, and I'm just thankful for that opportunity every day that God has given me to do this, and I just continue to try and provide that opportunity for those girls.
Wonderful.
Sorry for the long story.
No, that's amazing.
You're talking to cheerleaders. We talk and talk and talk.
Yeah. No, but that's a great story, and so touching that you've really experienced all levels with your own child. Like, that's nothing better than that as a parent.
We almost got to hit the capstone, so to speak. The big finale would have been, because of COVID, Emily got to sit out for a year, or she got to redshirt. So she actually ended up getting a 5th year at Malone, which would have been this year.
Uh-huh.
So when I was hired at Malone, the big thing was, because we're GMAC rivals, that it was going to be Malone versus Ashland.
That would have been nice to have.
Versus Dog.
Yeah.
So it was, the big joke was who in the family was going to root for who, and I bought all my family Malone gear just to see who wears what when they show up. But again, through God and through His grace, I truly believe she did a lot of soul searching and understood that this year was more important to start life and to start to get her education than to play lacrosse. So she ended up dropping out of lacrosse, and there were some other issues there that I don't want to go into, but she ended up dropping out, and again, it only reinforces my belief that I want to give girls that opportunity to have a great experience here at Malone. And even with her dropping out, it was I think God saying, this is your path, this is what you need to do, and she's concentrating on education, and she's really, some really great things have happened for her because of that.
Yeah, and I think that's part of coaching, to encourage students to come, but also to allow students to not be a part if they need
Absolutely.
to live life.
Yep.
I know a little bit about how you ladies showed up, since I take credit partially, but that's a whole nother story. So tell me what drew you to Malone, and also what's your favorite memory so far, your favorite experience here?
Oh, we have so many
I know,
good
already.
experiences.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you how hard we laughed last night at practice.
Yeah.
Just doing stunts together and funny things. But, I do give you credit for us being here. And Karen and I have a long history together. So us coming back together after so long is God in Himself. But I honestly, when I got asked to do this, and I got approached, do I know somebody, and I was actually at the women's golf fundraiser, and Coach Edens knows my husband really well, and he actually coached my husband in high school.
Oh, okay.
So they have a long history together, and Tanya actually approached me at that and was like, hey, we're looking to start STUNT at Malone. Do you know anybody that would be interested in wanting to coach or whatever? And I was like, I sat there and I'm like, well, I think about it, First person that came to my mind was Karen, because I was like, well, Karen would be good at this. Karen coached me in high school. She was my coach. So she's known me since I've been 14 years old. And And I was like, well, I'll think about it. I'm like, I'll try to figure out and think about it. I wasn't honestly even thinking about myself at first. I did at first, and then I was like, okay, hold up. Can I, this is a commitment, and can I do this? And so I was sitting there and like during the event, and I looked at Tanya and I go, let's talk about STUNT. I go, what do you know about it? Like, what are you looking for? Like, what's the thought in this program? And she's like, well, have you ever watched the game? I said, honestly, I didn't. I didn't. I said, I know what STUNT is because I was taught by Karen in high school how to stunt. So I know what STUNT is, but I didn't understand the game because it was so new, And I was like, I really don't know about it. So we started talking more about it, and, we exchanged numbers. I went home, and I was like, I talked to my husband, I'm like, should I do this? I don't know if I'm ready for this or not. I'm like, but, I've been a stay-at-home mom for years and years and years, and I'm like, my heart is in cheer. I also coached my daughter in high school, and middle school, for cheer. I wanted to go into high school level, but like I did at her school she's at, but she actually cheers for a public school because the school she goes to is very small. They don't have a competitive team. So I knew that they already had their coaches set. So I kind of just like, okay, this is my chance to step back and watch her go. And I already told her she's on my stunt team, so I've been training her for quite a while now. But anyway, so I was praying about it, and I'm like, if I just need to see if I can reconnect with Karen. Well, honestly, that day I was in Fresh Time grocery store, and a girl that I cheered with in high school, we run into each other. I haven't seen her in years. And I was like, hey, and I'm like, hey, so let me ask you, how's Karen doing? Because she was coaching the high school still at that time, and I was telling her about this opportunity. She's like, well, Karen's looking to possibly make a change in her life right now. And I'm like, okay, come on. Like, no way. Like, I'm like, she's like, you just need to call her. I'm like, she's like, no, I'm calling her right now. So she gets on her cell phone, and she's like, Karen, this is Krista, and she wants to talk to you. And I'm like, okay, so Karen and I just instantly connected. And we literally had several conversations of, what do you think? And we're like, let's do it. It was like this bond of how many years that we haven't seen each other because, I graduated and you kept going. And it was like God completely brought us back together. I mean, completely brought us back together. And it was just natural to be here. I'm Christian, and so to be in a university like this is a blessing. I went to a public college, and I cried the first day I was there because it was overwhelming, and people weren't kind and nice. And that's one thing Karen will tell you. Everybody here is so sweet and kind and helpful, and it just felt like at home. You just know when you feel at home, and I feel at home here. So
that's wonderful. So tell me about your faith walk. You've mentioned God. It is a requirement for all of our full-time faculty and our coaches, well, all of our faculty and coaches and staff to have a statement of faith. How do you see that playing into your coaching? Because it's not a requirement for our students, although we love for them to be people of faith, and we hope that they come to faith.
Well, I feel coming to Malone, which I got my master's here at Malone in education, which is kind of funny because during the interview process, which we met with 17 people in every building and traveling, and Krista and I were like, if we're doing this, we're doing it together. Like, there's no way we're not doing it together. Like, that was our pact. And so when we met with Dr. Miller via Zoom, he said, we've never had co-head coaches before. This will be a first at Malone. And we're like, well, we know we can do it. Like, we don't even have to say, hey, you do this, I'll do this. We just know. And then we talk to each other all day long, texting. It's just the connection that Krista and I have is truly amazing. So it's a godsend that we're here together. But I graduated from Malone with my master's, and I walked across stage. I was literally 9 months pregnant. Graduation was on Mother's Day in May, and I had my son on the 30th of May. His name's Mitchell. Only not because of Mitchell Hall, but every single one of my classes was in Mitchell Hall.
Okay.
And I loved the name Mitchell, so we did a stunt scavenger hunt. I'm like, go to the building named after my son. So they all went there, but it's just kind of cute. But so I don't always remember that, I graduated from Malone, and I don't know why, because during the interview process, I really never mentioned it. I'm like, why didn't I? But I taught school for years and years and years, and I coached high school cheer at a Catholic university. So that is my background. And the girls on the stunt team are cute. So when I started here at Malone and I knew it was a Christian university, I loved that idea. I just felt like at a Christian university, you're just getting a better population of people, period. And ever since we got hired, we signed our papers on April 1st, so it's not a joke because we're still here. I feel like being with Krista and being with the other coaches and being with the stunt team, like literally I've become a better person because of all of the people at Malone University. Like I said to my husband, I said, oh gosh, Marty, I said, these people are so nice, they are so good. I said, I need to step up my game. Like I am now a better person because of them. So at the end of every practice, we form our circle, we give our little shout outs to the team, to the members of the team that have done the best at practice that day, and then we always pray. We hold hands, we stand in a circle, we have our little ritual, our right foot goes in, and we say our prayer. Last night, they're like, Karen, you pray, you pray. I was like, oh, no. I said, I'm not prepared. They're like, just say whatever's on your mind. Because I am Catholic, and I said, well, we only pray prayers that are memorized. And the girls looked at me like, huh? I said, yeah, like it's just memorized prayers that we memorize and we know. So I closed my eyes and held hands and just said what was on my heart and just thanking God for bringing us together and being able to perform the way we performed last night, even after having a break, and we've never missed a beat, and God is with us this whole way, you know, and it was just short, and like they all clapped for me afterwards, and it just like they just made me feel good. No one makes fun of me because I'm not good at that yet. So being here at Malone is absolutely the place I need to be and where I should be and where I want to be for years and years to come. And I said to Krista, I said, we can do this for at least the next 10 years, right? Like, I just want to do this. This is my passion. I love these girls. I don't just want to be their coach. I want to be their friend. I want them to know that they can come to us with whatever they need to come to us with. And I mean, I want to be at their weddings. I want to celebrate the births of their children with them. Like, this is so important to me. I just hope that we can make that impact.
Yeah, we've adopted 12 girls, as
Yeah.
we said. We went from our children to adopting 12 more
Yes.
extra girls.
Yeah,
So.
that's wonderful.
Yeah, I want to be at their weddings too, but it can wait.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Several years down.
Several years. Yes.
6 or 7.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you look for in a college athlete?
I'll hit that, and because I love talking about this type of subject with recruits, and I often get this question. I love watching highlight reels. I love watching them score the points or a good defense. But what I love the most, what I look for the most in any athlete is attitude. And when I see this all-star player going down the field and she gets a yellow card or she gets a penalty and she argues with the ref, that's an immediate turnoff. So because it's that attitude, it's those core values that is so important for us here at Malone and here for our team. So I look for attitude. I look for the girl that is running down the field with the ball. She gets the ball knocked out of her stick, and then there's a turnover, and she gets right back up, and she gives 110% to get right back in on defense and to get right back in there. Those are the girls, the attitudes that I want on my team. So that's one of the biggest things that I look for in all of my recruits. I would rather have those type of girls on my team, and have those core values. And when I talk to my recruits, I'll tell them that it's important that we respect the officials, that we respect our elders, we respect our coaches, and we believe in our core values here at Malone and of faith, family, trust, community. Those are the things that we believe in. And if you want to buy into that, and then you are welcome with open arms at Malone. If you want to come and come to a school to party and drink and for all the shenanigans, we may not be the place for you. And that's because I truly feel that we have the best of the best, and that we do bring the best of the best being the school that we are. So attitude, and it encompasses all of those things with that.
Right. So we're training our students not only and our student athletes not only to be good at what they're doing, but to be good Christian
Yes.
people and people of faith who walk through everything, including their
Yes.
sport,
It's
with faith.
building that here, because at the end of the day, at the end of the 4 years, they're going to go out into this world, and no one on my team is going to be a professional lacrosse player. No one's going to probably go to the professional stunt of America team.
Right.
But they're all going to go out and be pharmacists or nurses or teachers, and that's the things that has to do with coaching. Where I always say, you come to Malone to get an education first.
Yeah.
And I'm going to also, the second thing is I'll have you pay to play lacrosse. So and it's always going to be in that order. And
Right.
we're prepping them. That's truly my job in coaching is, I coach lacrosse, but I'm coaching them for life too.
Right.
Absolutely.
Coachable
Amen.
athletes, coachable kids, coachable adults become, an asset to a society. So we say that. We're not just coaching you on the sport of stunt. We're coaching you with life skills. We want to help you with communication, with organization. It's hard to be a college athlete. You got to go to school. You have 12, 13, 14, 18 credit hours. You got to fit in practice up to 20 hours a week. You got to fit in lifting. You have to study outside of those, hours. And then, we want you to be successful. So like
You
Mike
still need
said.
to be a kid too.
Yes.
They'll need to be a
And
kid.
some
Yeah.
work full-time jobs. Some have jobs.
Some of them have jobs.
Sure.
So yeah, it's really about teaching them life skills and wanting them to be successful in life. And, I don't know the statistics, but statistics show that college athletes, kids who are in college that are in organizations, they do better with things like that in life. And for us to be a part of that, I think is really special.
That's wonderful. Krista, how do you think your faith helps you direct your student athletes in their, part of their life, of course, and the most important part of their life is faith. And so how do you see yourself as coach helping shape that?
With my background of being Christian, being at a university that, that's the main reason we're here, is to walk these girls in faith in Christ, and to be able to just naturally be able to do that with them is a blessing. But our girls are so special. I don't really know how to explain that. There's a sisterhood, there's a unity there that comes to them naturally. And so it's easy to be able to portray my Christian values with them. Even like Karen said, praying at the end of practice. The girls want to do that. Like we talked about, when we show up to games, we want Malone to stand out, not because we're the best on the mat, because there's something different about our team. And we will pray on and off that mat when we're at competitions, and we want the world to see that. And I really feel like people already have seen that have come to our open gym clinics. Because we just get more and more girls and they're just like, you guys are so kind, and everybody's so loving, and everybody's just like so wonderful. I've been to other camps, and it's just not, they get a different persona about them, So I think people feel that when they're around us.
We don't hold back.
No.
The girls
No.
that come to our open gym clinics.
This does not surprise me.
Yeah, we don't hold back.
But we don't know, they're just coming to our clinic. We still circle up, we hold hands, and we pray, and I've never really said, if you're not comfortable, you don't have to. Everybody just does it with us.
Right.
So what better peer pressure is there than to stand in a circle and pray together, So, and that's why, Krista does such amazing job at recruiting. She talks about the faith that we have just inside of us and through our university and through our team, that it's just going to be with us no matter what.
And the girls see it. The girls that have come on campus that want to see and meet our team, they know we're new. And there's our next year recruiting class, there's a lot of talent coming in. And, they see something different about us, and they like it. They probably could go to an Ashland that's been doing stunt forever and some of the bigger teams because of their skill set, but they're drawn here for a reason. And even if they come in, I don't care what their background is as far as faith, they're going to feel something different here, and that's what we're here to do, is to change their lives to put them out in the community as they graduate to become better people and hopefully give them that faith or that direction that maybe they've been missing or been wanting in their life.
And
Wonderful.
the girls on our team, like, I don't feel like I have to try to show my faith or them to us either. It's just natural.
Just live
it's
it.
just, yes, we just live it.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming in and talking to me so much. We throw the word community around all the time at Malone, and you have spoken about attending weddings and your hopes for these girls, both on the field and on the mat and off of it. So it's so clear the community you guys are building. Thank you very, very much for being at Malone, and I look forward to watching. And you're all three going to have to explain rules to me because I have no idea what lacrosse is. I mean, I've watched it, but I don't get it. All right. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks again for joining us today for Pioneer Portraits. I hope you will pray for Malone University. Send us students. Come visit our campus and speak well of us. If you like what you hear, share this episode on your social media or tell a friend the old-fashioned way.